Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to TKKN and Buff Save the Universe, episode number 48. It is Wednesday, May 11th, 2022. I'm Chris Adams, Tekken Master, joined by.
Buff Larkin, oh Tekken. This is going to be a very interesting episode, I have a feeling.
Yeah, it's weird because unlike the other podcast I do, we don't have segments here. It's just a whole like free flowing, extemporaneous,
You have
off
another
the
podcast?
cuff, hip fire. No idea what's going to happen next.
You have
Jumping
another
jumping
you have,
trapeze without a net. Just like constant excitement, effing fun times in on this show.
you have another podcast?
Always off the rails. Trains never on track or on time. But hey, that's how
Or
we
makes
effing do it when we
sense.
save the universe. So
Or
yeah.
makes sense. Do you have another podcast?
I mean, we haven't recorded in a while, but I do. Yeah.
Like in a calendar year?
It's probably been over a year, but whatever.
Well, okay, what's going on with that? Let's discuss this now.
What do you mean? What's going on with that?
Well,
It's on a break because when people are adults and have lives and have scheduling conflicts,
so what's wrong with Monday night?
what do you mean? What's wrong with Monday?
Well,
I don't know.
what?
It's been a while since I've talked about the schedule thing, and it's like last time I did it was like, oh, I don't have, yeah. It's just like
Well, whip it
when
out.
when wow.
Whip it out and you say, okay, let's do Monday night and see who can do Monday night because we need to have more babble.
We need to have more babble.
Aimless or not, we need more babble in our lives.
Well, the babbless will always be aimless. But yeah, what is the first topic you would like to discuss, Buff? Because I'm not usually the one taking the lead here. You're usually the one that's like, okay, this week we're going to or this time we're going to talk about blah 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 blah. But we totally didn't do that this
Well,
time.
let's talk about the primaries. Let's talk a
Okay.
little politics. Get a little dirty, and and and, and the people that Trump is backing aren't winning their elections.
What are you talking about? They're winning,
No,
just
no,
not
no,
all of them. I mean,
not
it's not going to be
just
hundred
not. Yeah,
percent.
exactly.
So
There's more losing than winning, and
I
those who are winning are
the last time
just
I checked,
trickling
it looked
over.
like most of them were winning. Actually.
So what does that mean for you, buddy?
Hmm.
So what does that mean? What does that mean?
That means it's still the party of Trump.
Uh,
That means the Trump era is still. We're still in it. Yay.
but thing is, they'll have one of those Republican things, like they'll have all the bigwigs who's gonna run
Republican
for.
things.
Well,
Oh.
the thingies. They're gonna have all the
The
bigwigs. Who's gonna be
okay,
the
are you talking about the
Republican
presidential
nominee?
primary or like
Yes.
okay, I was
Who's
like,
gonna
dude,
be
what
the
are you
who's
going
gonna be
on
the
about?
Republican nominee? Is what I'm saying.
Okay. In
Who's gonna be the
2024, 2 years
Republican?
from now, okay, keep going.
There's got to be somebody come up and say, "Listen, you lost eight, and it was by 81 million votes. You lost, but 81 million people did
That
not
wasn't
like you."
that's not how that works, Buff. I mean, the popular vote, that was like the gap, but if you look at the states with the electoral college, like that were actually important, it was a lot closer than 81 million. Oh, I'm okay, yeah. Anyway, yeah. That's yeah. Okay, like what were you gonna say though?
So my question is, can there be a contender come up and say, "Listen, you lost the last time you're up there. You can blame everybody thing you want, but everybody is now saying, except for the pillow guy, is saying that you lost. All right, you went and did all this lawsuits. You lost, and you can say anything you want, but you lost. Like, do we need to have that again, or
Actually,
do
it's
we
weird
have?
because like usually that's not what happens. Usually, if someone runs for the presidency and they lose, they usually do not try again to be the head of the ticket for their party. But it's Trump, so it's like obviously not going to happen. And I mean, I take a wait and see approach honestly, because it's like after all these leaks of like the January 6th stuff and like what they said about him behind his back, or like what they really said in their private and in their like chat groups. and like to each other, and they're like, oh, he's insane, he's dangerous, blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, they don't vote to convict him of impeachment. So it's like, I guess it doesn't matter what they think because they're not gonna go against their base. So it's like, and it's like, yeah, he's still popular and he's still raising money, and like I don't see anybody else in the party that's like people are gonna gravitate towards. He's really good at cutting other people down. So good luck with that, GOP. I'm enjoying the show because it's like they're getting what they wished for, and the monster is now wreaking havoc, and they've lost control. But I guess we'll see what happens. So, but I don't see anybody else taking the reins because it's like that's he's gonna. I mean, if he decides to run again, I don't see him like losing the primary. I see him winning again just because his followers are very devoted to him and his cause and the things. And there's like a lot of like I like what he likes and hate what he hates, and it's a great relationship there, symbiotic relationship of like and he can just be like, well, I got us the 3 Supreme Court justices that let us outlaw abortion, so you got me to thank for that. So 4 more years and I can ruin something else.
Amen. Well, the whole Russia thing would be fixed up in 20 seconds if he was back there, right? So that'd be nice. If Trump was in charge and the Russia thing, they just give over Ukraine and everything's good. Bomb Ukraine, they do. Bomb them for my buddy. I like that guy. Like Kim Jong Un, he's got some good ideas. Why can't I have a parade on just for me? Just parade for the president. Love your president. Come love me. Exactly. Do you know that he has a belief that you only have an infinite amount of energy in your body?
Infinite amount.
Infinite, or no, a finite amount of energy in the body, and the more you use up the energy, the sooner you die.
I didn't know that.
Yep, apparently that's what I hear, and so therefore that's why you don't see him working out and he's eating cheeseburgers and all that because and to be honest, he's in his 70s and he's still around, so that's good for him, you know.
Ah, man, that is also like the weird thing, but that's a whole other can of worms. It's just like
And Joe Biden, he rides a bicycle, and there that just answers the question right there, doesn't it? Hmm. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Speaking of that, how's your buddy Biden doing?
uh, in what regard? And he's not my buddy, so that's
Why
not
has he
that's not a
paid you
thing.
yet?
What?
Has he paid you yet?
Nope, still waiting. Still waiting.
Uh, I think that's. I don't think that. I think that train's not coming to the station, buddy.
Oh, me too. But I'm not
Yeah.
gonna I'm not gonna stop complaining or remembering it. So yeah.
All right.
But then there's like a whole list of things where it's like oh, wouldn't that be great if we had XYZ? But it's like, oh, if only that great senator we all love from West Virginia wasn't the nice obstructionist corporate a-hole that caucuses with Democrats, but isn't really a Democrat with
Hey,
all
whatever,
his stuff he's
whatever
doing.
protects his interests. That's the important thing. But anyways, this angers my blood, and I don't want to have it anger my blood. Um, so does Biden go for another re-election, or they
I hope
start?
not, cause man, like it's I okay
And who
that
does? Then who does? Then who does?
I mean there's a long list, just like run it back from the last time, but you know I I know who I went, but we'll see what happens. But it's like after the whole, oh man, wouldn't it be great if, and then it would be great, but we have two senators that will not help us in reconciliation.
Mm-hmm.
And then even if that happens, it's like, oh, Senate parliamentarian, no, it's against the rules, and Democrats are all about playing by the rules, and like the GOP, so it's like, oh, we wouldn't obstruct in the final months of a president's term to like keep Merrick Garland off the Supreme Court, or do that. And then when a justice dies, be like, oh, that thing we did, and we said, we totally wouldn't do that, and it's like, oh, and then we do it again, and or rather when like when we do the thing of like not letting Garland on because there's an election that year, so you gotta let the people decide. But then RBG passes away, and it's like, oh, there's an empty seat. We would do the thing that we said we'd do, except we're not going to because they're a bunch of dirty liars that are evil. So,
Hmm.
oh, Amy Coney Barrett, why don't you have a seat? Oh yeah, that's great. 6-3 majority on the Supreme Court. Isn't it great? Isn't it great? I
See,
completely forgot what the question was, dude. I just started like rambling on about the Supreme Court because that was that one.
because
That one
because
really just like sticks with me because it like it stings and it shows how important it is. And like when the Democrats are getting screwed and it's like long term, isn't just a fun time when it all blows up in your face. And it's like, oh well, now not only are abortion rights on the table and getting neutered or gone. What's next? What's the next on the list of their list of evil to
Mhm.
to mandate across the land in the libertarian hell, fundamental Christian authoritarian country republic that they want to uh,
That sounds right.
force on all of us. So yeah, it's a fun time.
That sounds right. Anyways, that's enough of your anger.
Oh, I could talk about this all day long, dude. Cause we need like 10 billion for like COVID, cause who knows when the next spike or wave or variant will be, and it's like, oh, we just rolled up the tent, and it's like, oh, whatever, dude. But hey, need some javelins, need some guns, need some
Whatever, dude.
weaponry, need some tactical uh some 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 tactical advice. We got you covered, Ukraine. Here's 40 billion. No questions asked. Super duper fast. Yeah. How fast did that to go through? Like it's like, oh, we need all these other things we can't get, and it's like, oh, but need some killing machines or devices. Boom, within a week, done. Can't get
Boom.
any voting rights. Can't get any police brutality reform. Can't get any sweet $15 minimum wage. Can't get any like stuff like that, or paid family leave, or effing yeah, universal pre-K, all that good stuff. But here's like a less than a billion or less than $1 trillion, like way less than $1 trillion for infrastructure. So spend it wisely, because not gonna get that for a while again, probably, because yeah, that's how that works.
So are they gonna lose the Senate in November?
I don't know, dude. I think after the whole abortion thing, it can go either way. Like I feel I would hope they don't, because it's like if they do, it's gonna be a not fun time in. It's okay. Here's the thing that like super irks me, dude. Is like we all know Mitch McConnell's evil, so it's like, do you really want him to be Senate Majority Leader again? Like it's like, but they had 2 years to like do like literally something, and then it's like they didn't, and now it's just like they go back to the whole like, oh, we can't show any of our gains that we've made or things that we've passed that have benefited everybody. But hey, the Republicans are evil and they're taking away your abortion rights, even though it would be great since we have the Senate and the House and the presidency to have legislation passed to be like, hey, we did these things, keep us in office, dudes and ladies, and everybody else. Yeah, but they don't. So it's like, yeah, whatever, dude. Um, so it's like, yeah, I would hope people would like, vote in their best interest. I would like to think after 4 years of Trump, people would get the, memo of like, what happens if yeah, you may be angry, but don't do the thing that's gonna really suck in the long term. if you if you either don't vote or vote against your interests. Because how fun were those years between 2016 and 2020 when it was like every day was a hair on fire moment, and it's like, yeah, there There were no days of the week where you couldn't, not hear, oh, what did the president just tweet today? Oh my goodness. Oh, so,
Speaking of that, what do you think about Twitter being bought by Mr. Musk?
has this still gone through? Because I feel like until it like legit goes through, I'm not gonna worry too much about it. But like even then, it's like whatever. So I mean, it's just one website, and it's not that great, honestly. I mean, it's a good source of like information because it flows so fast there, and it's very like it's. I mean, or like to an extent, because there's ads and there's like whenever they change things, but I mean, it's not that great of a website, but it's like, I remember time before Twitter, and it's like not everybody is on Twitter, so it's like you don't need Twitter in your life to like, you know, be happy. And a lot of times I think to myself, I should delete my Twitter. So it's like if it if it goes away, I'm not going to miss it, or is like taken over by Musk and like becomes terrible and goes down the tubes. Uh, but yeah, I don't. I mean, I'm on the. I mean, I'm of the mind of like it's not that big of a deal. It's like we'll see what happens on the day to day of the site being run and like managed. As far as like, does it get better? Does it get worse? Or will it will it be as successful as Tesla's making so many self-driving cars? You can't just like go miles and miles without seeing them because there's so many on the road because they're so good at making them and stuff. Except they're not because they delay it all the time because they're behind schedule. But that's a whole other can of worms. We'll see what happens. How do you feel about Elon Musk buying Twitter, Buff?
Well, we'll see. I don't know where his intentions lie. I don't know. If he wants to give me a couple $1 million, that'd
That's
be
not gonna
greatly
happen.
appreciated. Yeah. But, anyways, we'll see what happens.
I mean, I guess if nothing else, it'll show how full of crap he is because he's made so many statements in the past of like, "Oh, if the UN gave me
Yeah.
plans for solving world hunger, I would totally blah blah blah," and then they did, and he didn't do anything, and it's like, yeah, he's just a douche. So just proving more just how much of a bleep larp Elon Musk is.
There you
Stupid duck.
go. uh, well, here's my question to you. I'm gonna get away from the whole Trump thing. Yeah, we'll get that into that.
Yes, we're 18 minutes in. It's been nothing
Yeah,
but politics
we're
so far. So
already ripping it up. Anyways, let's talk about video games. Just to bring it full circle, what's the latest news that has come down the pike that has tickled your fancy, if you will?
uh, in what regard? Like, what do you mean tickled my fancy? That's not an expression I use.
What has got you excited?
Oh, well, the Gotham Knights thing that happened, was that yesterday or today? It happened this week. They showed Gotham Knights finally. Well, not finally, but like they showed it again. Apparently, it's next gen only, which is weird because like when I was watching that footage, I was like, I mean, it wasn't okay. I didn't have that reaction, but like I wasn't watching it thinking this looks like it's next gen or this looks really good for a PS5 game. I just saw the logos at the end, and it's like, oh, it's on PS5 and Series X and S. But I was like, that doesn't really look that good for a PS5 Series S and X game. So,
Yeah, that's a
um,
that's a new voice.
I was okay. There were like highs and lows. There were highs and lows of that because I was watching it and I'm like, okay, I would like to play this. But then there's like certain parts where I'm like, did they not get the notes passed from everybody that played the last game that nobody liked the Batmobile? Because it's like, oh, it's a bat cycle, and all the characters have a bat cycle. And I mean, I guess it makes sense because it's like, how would you? Because obviously it's going to be open world because they showed the map and they showed like enough to like, you can obviously see that it's going to be an open world game. So it's like obviously they're going to have like a way to like get through the streets faster than just like grappling and hang gliding or weird supernatural jumping if you're Jason Todd. or whatever Batgirl and Robin have. So we'll see. And there's fast travel, which is the whole thing. But it's different modes of traversal. So I guess yeah. So I guess they have to put it there to. Well, they don't have to, but like it makes sense anyway. Um,
Mhm.
it's I don't know. Besides that, besides the whole vehicle thing, it looks fine. It looks, but then there's like an asterisk just because like it doesn't look like this is the thing I thought when I first saw it because you know in Arkham Asylum City and Origins when you're fighting enemies that are normal enemies, not like anything that's like the heavy types or like the boss fights. Those enemies drop pretty fast. Like they don't take a lot to take down. And in Gotham Knights, it seems like I mean, this is just an observation. Cause like I'm just curious how this is gonna work. So it seems like it's very much more like a beat 'em up style game, like a Streets of Rage or a the old TMNT games or Final Fight, Bionic Commando or not Bionic Commando, Captain Commando, all that stuff from like the olden times. So it seems like this one's gonna be more in line with that because the combat isn't as fast and fluid like the free flow system was in the previous games. So it seems more arcadey style, beat 'em up style. And then they showed a Talon type enemy. So I mean that's the one thing I am like juiced about for this game, or like jazzed about, or whatever you said. Mix my whatever when you said the thing. Um, is that it is like based off the Court of Owls arc from Scott Snyder. So I
Mhm.
which I've only read like a couple issues. So I want to go. I need to go back and reread those first two volumes because it's like Court of Owls and then City of Owls. I believe are the first two volumes of that the New 52 Batman. So I'm gonna check that out uh, sometime soon before it comes out. So I mean, so like what it's based off of is cool as far as like scenario, plot, story, and then like what they're doing with the characters. It's supposed. I mean, it gets kind of weird because it's like it's not in the Arkham universe. It's just based off the events of Night, but not set in the universe. But that's a whole other can of worms. But I don't care because it looks cool. It looks fun. I'm looking forward to it. But like I said, when they showed the Talon type character, and he did look very tanky, and then in the trailer they took them down, but then they got back up, which was kind of neat because it was kind of like a you know it was very reminiscent of like a Mr. X or Nemesis thing. But it seems like those enemies take more damage and they're more hulkier and tankier. So there's not just so. But yeah, it's like. But I'm looking forward to it because it's like that's the thing I love about the Arkham games is like there's different enemy types. They all have different strengths and weaknesses or different attack patterns and styles that you adapt to on the fly when you're like playing and stuff. So I don't think they should have shown Red Hood because it was very. It just wasn't very exciting. Like the way he plays, it's just like shooting stuff, and it's just like okay, well, if you're shooting things, that's kind of the antithesis of a Batman character in a Batman game. But okay,
Mhm.
I mean he is in like Arkham Knight, but I didn't really use him, so whatever. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I would say that's like the most recent thing. It's probably not the thing
Yeah.
at the top of my list, but then I'm like thinking at the top of my list, and it's like we're just going into E3 is going to be in well, E3 is dead this year, but Microsoft and then Jeff Keighley are having presentations, so I'm hoping there's going to be a state of play announced or a Nintendo Direct. If not, at least there's the Microsoft thing and the Jeff Keighley thing. So in June we will have a ton of stuff to look forward to. I'm hoping and I'm thinking next year's going to be pretty loaded because this year I think on paper was supposed to be like really loaded, but didn't turn out that way, or wasn't next year. I keep forgetting because it's like one of the either this year or next year. Like in my brain, I was like, oh, it's going to be so loaded because of like COVID, so many delays. But then we have Unreal Engine 5 now, so once those games start coming out, man, that's going to be like we're going up the roller coaster right now. We haven't like we can like we're like yeah I'd say we're like halfway to three-fourths up. The tension is rising. We're not like yet able to like look over the uh the sweet drop we're gonna go down and just like have like all bangers all the time, but we're getting there and I cannot wait for that.
Mhm.
Let's see, is there anything else
And,
besides
and so when is that due out again?
our I always get the name wrong, Gotham Knights.
Yes.
It's like October 24th or something. October 20 something. I can look it up real quick. It was weird though because when I so I saw on Twitter after I looked it up on the PSN store, like there's another version above the deluxe edition, but there's no digital equivalent, and that version comes with like all these different costumes that they have in the game, and I'm kind of hoping there's a way to get those besides pre-ordering the ridiculous. It's like $300 or something for the collector's edition that comes with like a statue and all this other crap, and I'm like, dude, that's not. It's not worth that much money. Like that's as much as effing Series X, dude. It's like I'm not effing or Series S. I mean, not X, but like the fact that it costs like as much as like one of the next gen console SKUs is quite ridiculous. And I just want the costumes, honestly. But then that's like another thing I guess that has me nervous about the game is like they showed like the menu and there's loot and shader stuff, and it's like I don't expect it to be as bad as Avengers because it's not. It's only two-player co-op, and it doesn't like from what they showed seem to be very, you know, get this gear, get this loot, and your attacks are going to be this much better. But then I could also see that being the case from how the enemies, like I said, they don't just drop as fast, and like they're some of them seem much more tankier than the heavy types in the past. So I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see.
I shall say. Uh, is that your big game for the end of the year then?
Mm, I mean, for now it is, because, I mean, there's God of War Ragnarok, but mm, that's. We don't know if that's even coming out this year. I mean, it supposedly is. Like, they've said a lot that it's going to be, but we have no idea, like, when it is or if it is. But it's like, it's just, like, very heavily implied that it is. But honestly, for me, after Horizon Forbidden West, it's like, there's nowhere to go but down, because that game was so good. Like, I don't think it's going to get topped for me. I think I play for the rest of the year, so I'm just I'm just waiting to be happily or not pleasantly surprised by anything that's like going to be a surprise this year. As far as like, oh, that's coming out this year, cool. Because Final Fantasy 16, I don't think is because they've got Forspoken, Square Enix. Forspoken's their big game this year, and I don't think they're going to put two games out uh, close to the fall or holidays because they don't want to, have any friendly fire from the cells numbers, and they don't want to embarrass themselves after the disaster that was Babylon's Fall. Okay, October 25th is Gotham Knights.
Very good.
I
All
mean,
right.
there's like a bunch of small games I'm looking forward to, but there's like nothing of the caliber of Forbidden West except for Ragnarok, which is it's supposed to be this year, but we haven't got a date yet, so it's like I mean, I'm not too excited for Starfield because Bethesda is not my cup of tea. So
Explain me
I'll
more
still
about that
play it because
game you
it'll be
just
on Game
missed.
Pass. So I won't have to actually buy it. I could just play it with a subscription.
When does the PlayStation Game Pass show start?
I believe that's in June as well.
Mm.
June 20th or something.
Mm.
PS Plus. What was it called? All
Mm.
the different tiers.
Okay.
All new PlayStation
Well,
Plus is in
speaking
June. So
well,
that's next
speaking of
month.
comic book related items, you be
What?
are you happy with the fact Doctor Strange rocked it at the box office this
I
week?
mean, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care about the MCU.
You don't care about the MCU.
I've been off the train since Endgame, dude. Like,
You've been off.
it was a
Wow,
fun
that
it was a
when
fun
this
ride, and then we got
isn't
to the end, and it's like that was fun but exhausting and kind of a waste of time. I'm not doing that again. At
well,
least for me, anyway.
I say give Doctor Strange a shot. I
I
saw it. It was a very
mean,
good movie.
I'll probably watch it eventually. Doctor Strange is the first one was one of my favorites, but I just have I just have like no excitement or enthusiasm about MCU. Like it's just
You're
I'm
spent.
just kind of
You're
like whatever,
spent.
man. Like the status quo changed at the end of Endgame, and it's like, well, besides the Guardians and Thor together, that was kind of like I really don't care about anything else that was presented in that going forward. And I haven't watched any of the Disney Plus shows because I'm not about to like get Disney Plus just to watch streaming shows from some stupid franchise I could really care less about, and it's like permanently behind a paywall. Like I can't go out and buy Hawkeye on Blu-ray. I can't go out and get effing Captain America and Winter Soldier on Blu-ray. So it's like it's all just stuck forever. That's also like a thing. It's like it's like it's not their fault, but it's like I just hate that business model of like pay forever, and it's like
Mm,
never be able to own the things that you want. It's like what?
yeah.
Go for you. No.
F you. F
It's like you're just
you.
like I mean there are ways. Wink with my eye patch and pirate hat, but or a Jolly Rogers hat, but besides that, it's like oh.
Is that really the poop deck? The poop deck really what it means?
Also during
No.
quarantine when I was like playing all my games and like I canceled my Netflix, I canceled my Amazon Prime, so I didn't have streaming. I was just playing games, and I was like, dude, I don't need this other garbage. I'm good. Like I can just play games forever until I die, and I'll be happy. I don't need to worry or care about effing MCU. And like even then, it's like I can just go read the source material. Like there's a sweet Doctor Strange arc when he had that whole thing with like the effing damn, I don't even know the storyline, but like his stuff went down, and like
Yeah.
he had like a cool solo series, and there's like this bar he was like hanging out in, but you could like only find it if you're like on the up and up with the whole supernatural underground. And I haven't even read any of those issues, and I'm sure I would enjoy that more than the MCU if I don't at least like it comes out more often than like effing these like once who knows when. That's the other thing, dude. It's like it's like they're really good quality, but then like the output is just like not there for me. I need to like constantly have something to look forward to, and it's like the the spectrum of like how much do I care about these things when they release them is very yeah. It's like whatever, man. Like I didn't even see Spider-Man No Way Home, so it's like whatever, man. Like I mean, I hear it's amazing. I'll watch it eventually, but it's just I'd rather play Final Fantasy 14 or Horizon or play whatever the f else. Like it's like would I rather spend 120 minutes to 2.5 hours to whoever like however effing long watching this movie, or would I rather spend that time playing a game? And I'd rather play a game. So it's like it's like my time is better spent in my opinion on things I like it more, which are video games. And that's why I don't
Oh,
care that the Doctor Strange 2 had like a bunch of money at the box office, so whatever.
185 million.
Oh, good for Doctor Strange 2.
Good for doctors.
Too bad he doesn't have a game. I'd play
Mm,
it.
doctors.
Maybe they should make a
Mm,
Doctor Strange game. How about that?
doctor. Well, he does. It's called the Midnight Suns.
Oh yeah, that game.
Yeah, that game. That game. Tekken.
Well, when I say a game, I mean 3D action game. I don't mean XCOM ripoff. That's like watered down.
Well,
Sorry.
is it really a ripoff? It's made by the same company.
I mean it's the same effing game. Okay, well not ripoff, but like an XCOM clone that's watered down. There we go. Better phrasing.
That's the spirit.
Yep.
That gets you good right there. Yes, indeed. That fills your energies up. That's for sure. Anyways, so um, now that we've gotten into that, you talked about your video games, and we brought a bit about comic books up,
I
which
mean,
is
before we move on from MCU though, like since you're
oh, go
watching
ahead,
it,
tell me what you
um,
yeah, tell me.
like do you think the MCU is the best it's ever been at its current point? Because like that's the other thing about the MCU is like you can just jump in whenever. It's like it's like super binge. Well, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's bingeable, but it's like it is like easy to get caught up, and like if you fall behind or just get back on the train. If you're like, oh, I want to catch up with what's been going on, it's like, oh, just watch the series and watch the movies, and you're good to go. And it takes like not even a month, and you're probably good if you can just binge it all. So it's not like it takes that long to get caught back up with it if you fall behind. So I'm not really that worried about it either.
I'm gonna be quite honest with you, because you know me, I'm a very honest man. Um, I'm not. I'm kind of worried because you had the big heavy hitters in the very first
I think
wave,
that's the other thing
right?
about Endgame though is like after that was done, I was like, dude, it's gonna like they had built it up to like where like they're at such a good point of like everything that was coming out like mattered so much to the storyline, and it was like so good at that point that it's like I don't want to like to like give an analogy. It's like they're at like number one again. Like they had to like restart the series, new writing team, new artists. It's like, but I want more of that, dude. It's like I don't want to effing read effing all these effing, non-Hickman X-Men books while Hickman's writing X-Men. I just want to read Hickman's X-Men. I don't want to read effing the Marauders or X-Force or New Mutants or whatever the F Hickman's not on. I don't want to read it because I just want to read Hickman's X-Men and his X-Men story. Like when I was reading Avengers and it was Avengers and New Avengers, and that was the effing stuff, man, because that was just incursion storyline, god tier.
Yep, yep,
Oh,
and
while I was reading it, dude, X-Men was really good. As far
the
as like
Illuminati.
the whole reincarnation stuff, and then effing House of X and Powers of X, dude, or Powers of Ten, I believe is what it's called. But like, whew, whew, and those were, I believe, weekly. That was effing weekly X-Men. That was like the best effing time. And it's just like, damn,
Really?
Hickman just you spoiled me. Ah, can never go back. I mean, I can go back, but it's just like it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. When you have a weekly X-Men book and it is quality, it is like the best book you're reading at the time. It's like it's hard to come back from that, man. That was just, oh, that was delicious. Ah. And then like every week you'd be like, oh, what's more is it Moira's adventure this week? Oh, what's Charles and Moira's adventure this week? Oh, what are they doing this week? Oh, and then it was like a great story. Sorry to go like off on an effing tangent, but like it was such a great story of just like mutant unity and oneness, and it was just like happy fun times for like 8 weeks, and I'm good. And then yeah, there's like the book comes out, and it's like here's our status quo, and here's what we're doing, and it's like, it was okay, but like I think I kind of like got what I needed from that, and I was just like, I'm done. So, but like that's the analogy I'd make on the MCU as far as like it was so good where it was, and then like I don't want to start back over, dude, because it's like I wasn't there at the beginning of like the MCU. I came in like Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, because I'd watched Netflix on, or I watched Netflix. I watched Avengers on Netflix. I was like, oh, it's not bad, because I'd been ruined by X-Men 3 and Spider-Man 3, and I was like, I'm never doing this ever again. F comic book hero movies and F superhero movies. But then I like watched Avengers, like, oh, this is actually really really good. That was and I was like, oh, okay. And I watched it in Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, rest is history. And then I like slowly watched all of them before Infinity War. And man, I was like, dude, this is effing man. But then that's the thing, is like when you're in the story and you get to the end and there's a climax and there's the ending, it's like, okay, but then because of, money, they had to keep making them. And it's like, how good was Captain America the First Avenger? How good was Iron Man? How good was those first few MCU movies? Thor, like nobody likes Thor. I secretly love Thor 2. Thank you very much. All right, I
You're the
will
one.
I will defend Thor 2. It's a great sci-fi like weird fantasy thing going on. I very much enjoy the vibe of the Thor films. After the first one, the first one's second one and third one are amazing. Third, like Ragnarok's one of the best. It's like, dude. Anyway,
Oh yeah.
we I'm completely tangenting. I'm sorry, but that's the analogy I'd make about the MCU, is that it was like they like literally had like a comic book like volume or series, and they just started over from like the beginning after getting to the end. And it's like, oh, gotta keep making them, gotta keep pumping them out, gotta keep making that money for Disney and Marvel. Well, I guess it's Disney now because they own it all, but gotta make
All right.
those
So
Mickey Mouse
so
dollars.
I'm gonna throw a couple things at you about the new Doctor Strange movie, and I want to
Oh, you were gonna
see.
say something about the Illuminati when I brought up the incursions thing.
Yes, yes, that was 10 minutes ago. Uh, so I'm gonna throw some words out that were in the Doctor Strange
I
movie.
saw it in the trailer, dude. It did make my like Uatu eyebrow raise. I was like, ooh. I was like,
Yeah,
also what the
yeah,
F? Where's Uatu? Like, where's the effing Witcher? I mean, not the Witcher, the Watcher. Like, effing. I mean,
yeah,
I guess there was that one like wink at the Watchers
yeah. And
in
Stan Lee,
Guardians 2.
exactly.
So
So,
it's not the
uh,
same.
Doctor Strange, right?
Hmm.
The Illuminati
Hmm.
incursions.
What? Really? Because that was like the best storyline, man. That was like that, I mean, I kind of like want to go back and read Secret Wars because I have all the issues. I think I just didn't care about like the first issue was like setting up. I was like, oh, this is too much. I was like, this is like too much Doctor Doom, and he wasn't really like in the like Avenger stuff I was reading, and I was like, Eh, I just want the incursions, dude. That was just like yeah, like the whole threat every episode or every issue is just, and then like they
I
finally
all I'm
got
gonna
to the end.
say is that it's heavily teased, and you would like it.
Okay, see, that's all you had to say, cause like man, incursion storyline that was like the best when I went back to like read stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, it was even better than like cosmically corrupted uh mental breakdown Cyclops after AVX.
that poop head.
I mean,
Eh,
man, like that and Uncanny Avengers, dude. Uncanny Avengers, I was just like every issue was just like, oh, it was like crack, because it's like that was also like a good storyline of like building up towards the whole Ragnarok. Yarnborn, oh, Yarnborn. If you don't know, man, Yarnbjorn, that was just so good. Celestial killer, Yarnborn.
Now, okay, but I'm not saying. I'm just saying it's
Man, but
this
if you would
could
have said
be.
Yarnbjorn, I would have lost it. I was like, what? Ah, no, I have to watch this.
Now, I'm just saying.
Incursions in the Melody, yeah, that's 2 out of 3, man.
Now, I'm just
All I need after
saying.
that is like Namor and Black Panther staring each other down, and being like,
Well,
"I want to kill you," but not saying it. You can just see it in their face. It's like, oh, so good.
I'm just saying is that it's heavily teased. It has been made. There is a mention to it, and I would suggest that I think that might be what the third Doctor Strange movie is going to be about.
Ooh, damn. Now I have to see it.
So I think I've wetted your whistle enough. I'm
Oh
not.
man.
See, I gotta be
Ah,
careful
incursions.
because
So
this
good.
this
So
could be
good.
all about this could be the same thing as the
Oh,
Guardians of the
Guardians of the Galaxy
Galaxy.
game. Yeah.
I don't want to get your hopes
That's a
up.
good
I'm
point, because
just
it's not like it's like prominently there. It's just like a reference or something. So it's not. Yeah, I probably am just getting too excited right now. But
oh, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you know, it's interesting. It's just interesting what happens. So it's very good.
do you think they would
And
ever like do something like drastic or like super crazy nutso to like get back to the status quo before in game, to like put the genie back in the bottle to like reset the universe?
no,
Mm.
no, what's done is done. And now they can just they don't have to have an Avengers movie. They don't. If they got Doctor Strange making $185 million, they don't need
That's
to
weird though,
hold.
dude. Like, that's but that's like the whole thing of the MCU. Is like they made it work on a film of like having singular characters, but then they team up and it still works because it's like a shared storyline, shared universe, and it's like, oh, you know.
Exactly. So I'm just saying there's good, and I think you'd like. There's enough little trinkets in there that you'd enjoy. I think.
You
Like
never answered the question though. Like, on the whole, though, do you think MCU is at the best it's been right now?
no,
Okay.
I
Do you
I
think it's
think
on? Do you think it's on the up and up, or do you think it's on like? It's just like it's like it, or like, do you think it's like slowly building right now, or is it just like they still don't know what they're doing
see. I
after the whole
when
awesomeness
was the
of
last
the
time?
Thanos
When was
arc?
last? When was the last time you saw Nick Fury? You saw Nick Fury years ago. He was doing something up in space, but now you don't see anything. You know, usually the movies are tied together somewhere, usually in the cutscenes with Nick Fury doing something, and all of a sudden that's just been nothing. So I think, and so Thor's coming up, so that's
Was that at the end of Guardians 2 when he's out in space, or is that at the end of Captain Marvel? I don't remember.
Captain Marvel.
Okay, yeah.
So
Oh
it's
wait, wasn't there like at the end of the Spider-Man thing? Because he wasn't actually, because of the scroll
that
thing. So it wasn't.
potentially yes,
I
potentially
think it was in the Spider-Man, the second one. He was in space.
yeah. Well, anyways, that was in Spider-Man number two, many years ago, and now we have Spider-Man 3 already, and no Nick Fury. So let that be a lesson to you. So I'm not sure what the plan is. Of course, that's above my pay rate, which is $0. So, but and thing is, if the incursion storyline is going to stay in Doctor Strange, which is fine,
Man,
because
see that I see I would like to see that because that is actually a story that could go 10 years, just like Infinity Gauntlet could, because that is such a slow burn.
yeah. See,
And
I'm
it's got
not
so many
saying
parts, and it connects everything. So it's got Fantastic Four. You can put the mutants in it. You can put the Avengers in it. It works. Cosmic with Guardians. Ah, so good.
I'm just saying where like
And you could even
yeah.
put Thane in, and nobody knows about Thane except for the real fans like us, Buff. Oh,
See, exactly.
oh,
So
oh my gosh! My brain. I just like blew my own mind with that. I was like, dude, because they can't bring back Thanos, but they can do Thane. Oh,
oh
oh.
whatever. They're not gonna do that. They'll be like,
I mean, they
Thane.
could. They're not going to, but they could.
Okay, but Thane.
I mean, they haven't even like done him enough in the comics, honestly. So he's not really like his own
No,
person.
he was
So
just a tease, and then they said, "Ah, that's not working." So get rid of that.
we ruined that one.
We ruined that guy before he even started. He
It's
was
like it's
done.
like Hickman gifted them this thing, and they ruined it. Typical Marvel.
Exactly. Anyways,
Man,
I'm
ah, and I mean, man. I'm just thinking about all this stuff now because it's like even in the incursion storyline, because Doctor Strange was so prominent, he like sold his soul. He had that bug put in his brain that got pulled out that one time. Oh, that was freaky. It was like a spiritual bug. It wasn't like a real bug, but like, man, that was crazy.
spiritual bug.
But that's the thing, though. If you have the Illuminati, don't you need the what were their counterparts? The
Yeah.
Thanos
Well,
side, the Black
yeah.
Order or whatever.
Well,
They
it
had a name.
depends on how you're doing it, right?
Cause they
So
had like
right
Black
now
Swan. That
they're
was a great character. Oh, great character.
yeah, so I
Matt
can't
Makers and the Black Priests. Oh, Buff. See, I'm just like thinking about it, and I just like I had to go back and reread it now because it's just so perfect. And like I can't get that out of the movies because it's not in the movies yet.
yeah.
This happened the other day because RPG put out a tweet of like how they something about the X Men or whatever, and I was like, maybe they just do like a reverse House of M. But then I was like, and then like Salem said something about AVX, and I was like, man, Uncanny Avengers, dude, that would just be my if they could do that Ragnarok now, Yarnbjorn. That'd be delicious. And just I looked it up on Wikipedia. I was like looking at a synopsis, and I was like rereading the synopsis, and I had forgotten about some of the stuff that happens. I was like, dude, effing of Uncanny Avengers, dude, so good, so effing good. At least like the first volume, first arc, until you get to like Planet X. After Planet X, I stopped reading because Axis, so I don't know what happens after that. But it's like, hey, until then, because Axis. So thanks for ruining that, Marvel.
Well, I see it as like again, potentially being very good. Uh, if they can keep the excursion on that side, fantastic. And Doctor Strange can handle that. That's great because, like I said, there's no. I don't know what's going to happen. What the next big threat is that will bring Avengers together. But who's going to be the Avengers? Falcon, Winter Soldier, you know, Doctor Strange. You know,
Hmm. Man,
yeah,
but if nobody like pull up
it
the
ain't
flippin' Hickman
it ain't
Avengers
gonna be the
list
it ain't gonna be the big
to see
boys.
who
You know
they
what
can
I'm
like
saying?
replace. But then they have people like on that run that like aren't even in there yet, like Hyperion and Sunspot and Cannonball and Smasher. I mean, there's Thor and Hulk, so Iron Man, Cap, or I guess they have to replace Iron Man though. So
All right. So, was saying that um, the next movie up, of course, it occurs at the movie theater. When saw it was a very good movie. Sam Raimi. If you ever watch any of his movies, then you'll see his handiwork in all the in it. It's a very good movie. I went into it. I urinated before I went into the movie theater, and then an hour into it, I had to pee again.
thanks for sharing.
And
What
and
the?
and the fact of the matter is that this is right during the Illuminati. I said, okay,
Oh my
Illuminati's
gosh.
coming, and I can't miss on the Illuminati. So so then I had to hold it in.
Why are you telling this story?
because I wanted to see Tom Cruise as Tony Stark, right? Because that was the big rumor was okay, he's getting Tony Stark,
Oh,
and so you know, kept my urine in me, and then the Illuminati showed up,
oh my god.
and I thought, oh, there's Black Bolt. Is he Tom Cruise? I don't know. And then it turned out it wasn't. It was the guy who played him on the Inhumans TV show. So that was kind of a nice little tip of the hat there. So then it got into the final stretch, and so I had to hold it even more till the whole movie was over, and then the credits came on. And so do I say to myself, well, and you know when you're done something, right? And this you set yourself a time frame, and you can't pee until this is done. And so the movie's over, but the credits are still playing. So do I wait around and wait for 10 more minutes for two cut scenes, or do I make a cut now and go pee in the urinal? And so I made the decision to go and pee in the urinal and miss the trail. Now, luckily, I had a couple family members with me, so they took a video of the cutscene and sent it to me. Because I came back, and I swear, Tegan, I swear, I swear, I swear, I peed, I
I don't.
urinated,
We don't need the details, dude.
I
We don't need like
urinated for
specific
it
like
had to be at least 2 minutes straight.
TMI, man. TMI.
That's how much urine was in my body. I swear it wasn't stopping. And it was like, what the heck? I just anyways. So I missed out on the first I
Oh,
missed the
so you didn't
first
get to see all the after credit scenes.
I missed the first after credit, but I caught the last after credit. So that was good. So
Oh,
it was well
I'm
done.
sure you can find it on YouTube somewhere.
Yeah. Well, don't. You don't want to spoil
I
yourself.
didn't say I was looking at. I was just saying you can probably find it. That's what I did
Yeah.
for What did I go see? One of the Wolverine movies, or not one of the Wolverine movies, but it might have been Days of Future Past or Apocalypse. Cause I was like, I'm not watching these credits or something, and I was like, and I just, or maybe it was like something I hadn't seen, and I was like, I wanted to see the after scene credits. I don't know. It's just the one that was teasing Mr. Sinister. So I don't remember what movie that was, but that was like the scene I didn't see for whatever after credit, whatever the F it was. So
Hmm. So that was my adventure. My strange adventure. Yes, that was of urination.
oh man.
I had to pee a lot. Anyways,
Well, I found. Well, I guess I didn't. I'm looking at the logo for like the Hickman's Avenger when he has all the names on the little circle thing on the graphic for the Avengers machine, and it
hmm
is. So we've got Shang-Chi, Falcon, Captain Marvel, Spider-Woman, Hulk, Hawkeye, Manifold, Captain America, Iron Man, Wolverine, Spider-Man, Black Widow, Sunspot, Cannonball, Thor, Hyperion, Captain Universe, and Smasher, as well as others like Ex Nihilo, Abyss, Night Mask, and Starbrand. So there's like a
yeah,
ton of characters in that are not even in the MCU right now.
exactly.
Oh yeah, and Reed Richards too. He's not on here for some reason, but he is one of the. Oh, that's right. These are Avengers. That's why I'm like, why is Reed Richards not on here? Anywho,
Read.
oh man.
Good luck.
Um, so yeah, I guess that's our nice little chunk of time spent on MCU. So we did.
Yes,
Okay, so we did video games, kind of. Is there
I
anything?
peed. I peed
Gosh.
for 2 full minutes, but I didn't have that much water to drink.
Okay, we don't need to revisit you and your bathroom break. So is there any video game stuff that has you excited right now?
Any vegan stuff? No, not
Video
really. I
game,
don't
not
really.
vegan.
Video game? Oh, absolutely. Um, I what I want to see is Midnight Suns. That's what I
I'm
want.
gonna see if I can find their Twitter thing and just tweet at them. Hey, effers, Buffalo Larkin wants more information about when this game's coming out. It's funny because like the release date now says it says initial release date and it says 2022. So yeah, still.
So there's still hope.
I mean, oh, here we go. This is from April 11th, 2022. GamesRadar.com. Marvel's Midnight Suns was originally scheduled for release in March 2022 by Firaxis Games and 2K Games, but a recent social media post revealed it had been pushed back to the second half of 2022. So, sometime after June, in the second half, or July, depending on when you count the halves, you'll be getting that game. So, I'm going to guess holiday because nothing ever comes out in the summer. Or like September at the
Wow.
earliest. August if you're lucky.
There you go.
Hope we finally know when it's coming out now, though. And
So
maybe
we
if you're
know.
lucky, there'll be a sweet new trailer at or at Summer Game. What's it called? Summer Game Fest. It's Keeley show or thing, and it's like you'll get a new trailer, and we'll be like, oh, here's release date, just like we got with Gotham Knights.
That's right. Well, that's good. Well, this has been a very interesting conversation, Tech.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about your urination.
We haven't talked
So
about any
that's good.
wrestling stuff though.
I know we're gonna save that for next week. Gives me a chance to catch up on Dynamite. Are you gonna watch? Are you? Would you put? I know you're not gonna do it, but would you put down money on Double or Nothing right now?
No, I don't gamble.
I'm no. I say money down as to buy the pay per view.
Oh, I have to work on Sundays, so no.
No. Would you watch a show like The Forbidden Door?
I would, man. That's what I'm angry I have to miss because I'm not gonna be able to see it. But yeah, that I'm excited about that one. I also
Hmm.
like the fact that like the name of it is Forbidden Door.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
So that's interesting. So that's good. It'll be interesting. I think I had to put money on one of the matches being John Moxley versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, and if that's the case, that sells the pay per view for me altogether. You see, you don't know Hiroshi Tanahashi. You've heard the name, but you don't know it because he's the best. But it'll be very interesting to see John Moxley versus. Have you heard of the name Juice Robinson?
No.
No. Well, he joined the Bullet Club, which is the kind of the bad boy faction in New Japan, and now he's called Rock Hard Robinson, and I think that's the greatest. That's the greatest name. I might change my moniker Buff Larkin to be Rock Hard Larkin. I think that might be it. Uh,
Oh man.
which is much better than 2 minutes of urination Larkin. That's for sure. Like, oh my God, that's a Rock Hard Larkin. That'd be just, hey, what's your name? Then you, Chris, you say, I'm Rock Hard Adams. Oh, I like that. It's even better. I may call you that from now on. Uncle Rock Hard. No, that doesn't work. Uncle T is much better. This time, tonight, I said I was having a chat with you, and I said I'm having a chat with Uncle T for the first time ever. They didn't say he's not our uncle, so I'm starting to wear him down. So that's good. Things I've been reading lately for comic books. I've been reading the John Byrne Superman. The when DC had their very first crisis, they relaunched Superman,
I
and
was
they
gonna ask
gave
you about that because there's a new Crisis this summer.
oh for Pete's sakes, yeah. So
Did you see that
I read
Dark Crisis?
yes, I read the Justice League issue that had the death, the quote unquote death of the Justice League, and they get knocked out. That's for sure. They just get like this white light takes them out and all that kind of stuff, and Green Arrow gets killed off and stuff like that. So you take all the major bad boys from all the still you got Doomsday and all these other guys, right? And all the super bad guys that they've hate, and they put them all as one super team to go against these Justice League, and they pretty much take care of it. They wipe out those guys, which is funny. But then the one guy who brought them all together, the one major bad guy, he then kills off the league after that. So we'll see what happens now. They're facing this crisis without their major hitters. So now the thing is, how does Nightwing fight off a world full of bad guys, right? So it'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting. If Donald Trump looks like a kingmaker after his endorsement put J.D. Vance over the top in Ohio Senate primary last week, he was downright middling on Tuesday. Trump's candidate won a closely watched House race in West Virginia, but Nebraska was a train wreck for the former president. Here are three takeaways from his rough night in Nebraska. The Cornhusker faceplant, but one of them was named. The one was called the Ratatouille Chewy. I have no idea. Trump repaid the favor by traveling to Nebraska last week to campaign
Why
for
are
his
you
law.
reading this?
I'm filling in time.
We don't need to fill
Anyway,
time.
anyways, this is what I'm going to tell you. Trump, you're saying Trump is doing great. I'm saying Trump
I didn't
isn't
say he
doing
was
great.
doing great, dude.
Like you're
And
all
if I did,
endorsing
that's
him.
not what I meant to imply. I'm just saying
Okay,
he's not lost his
Mojo,
influence or um
evilness.
following.
Oh, there you go. That's good. Okay. Well, good sir. Would you like to sign us out? It's been a good hour of you and me bantering apart. But John Byrne's Superman is a very nice read.
I'll take your word for it.
There you go. You like your heroes with a bit of bad streak on them, like Batman beating up people over and over again, like in the movie. How many stars do you give Batman? The Batman? All the
Out of how
all the
many?
stars? All the stars in the universe? You give all the stars to it?
That that's. I'm not gonna answer that seriously because it's not a serious question. Because I thought you were gonna say out of five, and you're like out of all the stars in the galaxy, and it's like, dude, that's not a. Nobody uses that, or no,
Out of five.
nobody
Out
that's
of
like worth
five,
taking
then.
seriously would.
Out
Okay,
of five. Out of
I would
five.
give it five.
There you go.
I
So
wouldn't even get to talk. We didn't even talk about the Batman movie. Whatever.
what do you think about the Joker?
I mean, he's barely in it, but I did enjoy the tease.
That's right. He
That's.
ain't gonna look like your regular
I mean,
Joker.
it
I'll
was
say
like it
that
was kind of
much.
worth it because it's kind of like in Batman Begins, right? When like they have the tease at the end, so it's like
Exactly.
it's like worth it just for that to be like, oh,
Well,
what's next? Or I can't wait to see the next thing.
the Joker is the Thanos. The Joker is the Batman what Thanos is to the Avengers, right? He's the tease.
That's.
He's the tease to make you watch more Batmans, and oh yeah, oh, and then all of a sudden, bam, like Two
I
Face,
don't
just
think
like
that's
this.
the I would not agree with that analogy because Thanos to me is a cosmic villain and like
I'm not saying I'm just saying Thanos is the big bad for the Avengers. The
okay.
Joker is the big bad for Batman. That's and so they strung Thanos along till it was go time. They'll string the Joker along till it's go time, right?
I
So
don't think they're gonna I don't think they're gonna tease it in this movie and then not have it in the next movie, dude. That doesn't seem like something you should do. Because then you're gonna have a bunch of people that would be upset about like why did you even bother teasing this if you're not gonna put it in the second movie.
they're gonna be like, oh man, it's gonna be a trilogy. Joker's gonna be in the third one.
Nope,
Oh yeah,
nobody is thinking that.
yeah. I am. So then that defeats your
That's
cause.
not what they did with in the Nolan trilogy. He was in the second movie, and they teased him in the
Yes,
first movie
yeah, that's true. But the
because
hard brain.
nobody
Look at
does
me,
that.
I'm brain. Hard brain. Oh, no. Tekken, why don't you go and fight the evil Tekken? Yeah, yeah. You don't want to talk like this. Yeah, I'm tired. Anyways, let's wrap it up, good sir.
All right, so yeah, uh, that's it for this episode of Taken and Buff Save Universe.
We
And
saved
until
it.
at least the next episode, I honestly forget what how our outro goes, dude. So it's like whatever. I'm just trying here. I'm trying my best, everybody, to like replicate this because it's like I never remember. I just remember the part that I usually say, which is that's it for this episode of Taken and Buff Saves Universe. Until
Why?
next episode, and until you see or hear from us again, you've been saved,
You
or your
merely
the universe has been
adapted the
saved.
dark.
Until at least
I
next
was
time.
born in it.